Hello, this is Arnold, Cherie's lesser half, and I will try my best to offer cursory narration to some of Cherie's life events. Thank you so much for joining us this day to help celebrate Cherie's life, a life she lived to the fullest, right up to the very end. Honor her today by hugging old friends, making new friends, laughing, crying, or just quietly remembering how she affected your life. Cherie grew up in Belleville, Illinois, the firstborn to Oscar and Eileen Stellick. She was followed in rapid succession by 6 siblings, 4 girls and 2 boys. She was in her first year of college when we met and fell in love. I was an enlisted man stationed at Scott Air Force Base, and after dating Cherie for half a year, I received orders to go to Germany for 3 years. A dream assignment, but I would have to leave Cherie behind in Belleville. We were very young, but made the impulsive, but I believe right, decision to get married before I had to leave. We married on January 8th, 1966, and I left for Germany in early March to serve in a liaison capacity to the 10th Special Forces Group at a small post in the foothills of the Bavarian Alps. Cherie joined me there on May 1st. We lived in the farmhouse apartment in a village well separated from the army post and housing area. Cherie loved her life on the German economy. She learned the language and became a regular German Hausfrau. Our first son, Arnold Martin, was born at the Army Hospital in Munich on October 31st, 1966. Cherie and her blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy were a big hit with the German ladies. We loved our life in Germany, but in March 1969, we returned to the United States and a year of meteorological training at Chanute Air Force Base in Illinois. From there, we moved to Charleston, South Carolina. Loved the beaches, but our place of residence and my job, not so much. No matter, we soon made yet another move, this time to Houston, Texas, where we lived for nearly 6 years. During that time, I quit the Air Force, got a job at NASA's Johnson Space Center. Our daughter Jennifer was born during that time, as was our son Christopher. The Cultural Revolution that took place stateside while we were isolated in Germany also caught up with us, and we started smoking the noble weed. A lot. All that changed when Cherie's spiritual quest led her to Jesus. I followed, and we went from living like Cheech and Chong to becoming Jesus people. Yet another reassignment. The project at NASA came to a close, and I had the option of moving to Washington, D.C. or to Columbia, Missouri. During our life together, Cherie and I moved a total of 19 times and lived in 12 different locales. We opted for the job at the Environmental Assessment Center in Columbia. Cherie was glad to be closer to her family scattered across the greater St. Louis area now. Life in Columbia was good. We built a very nice home on some acreage outside of the city and enjoyed a comfortable lifestyle for some time. Too comfortable, I guess, because we decided that our life in Christ called for more than warming a pew on Sunday mornings. I quit my job, we sold our home, and moved to Texas to become home missionaries at the Teen Challenge Rehabilitation Center. Cherie totally immersed herself in the work. She took charge of the kitchen, started a ceramic shop, and opened a thrift store in the nearby city of Wharton. Oh yeah, as if that wasn't enough, she also started homeschooling the kids. We stayed with it for over 5 years before heading back to Columbia. After a stint supervising a building project at the church, I went back to working at the National Weather Service. They were glad to have me back and eventually promoted me to official in charge of the Columbia office. Cherie took a job as office manager for a construction company. Our son and daughter-in-law were also living in Columbia, and they gave us our first granddaughter, Sweet Summer. Nothing lasts forever. The National Weather Service modernization effort called for a closure of all the smaller offices, mine included. we were moved to a large new office in central Illinois. Lincoln, Illinois was not the most exciting of assignments, but Cherie kept herself busy, jogging, playing tennis, swimming, and with frequent trips to visit family in St. Louis. We enjoyed all the visits from our now adult kids and granddaughter. When the opportunity to move to the St. Louis office opened up, we jumped on it. Our second granddaughter, Allison, was born to our oldest son and wife, followed by the birth of Charlotte, my daughter's girl. Cherie absolutely adored her grandchildren, including her adopted grandsons, Ben and Paul. We were ready to finally settle down and stay put for a while. In 1998, Cherie decided to make good on a lifelong dream of becoming a flight attendant. She started flying with TWE, then applied to TWA, went through their training, graduated, and started flying. She crisscrossed the country and made trips to Europe. I would sometimes tag along, or we would use her flying privileges to travel around the country. It was a wonderful arrangement that came to a halt with the tragic events of 9/11. In the early morning hours of June 30th, 2016, I took Cherie to St. Luke's emergency room. She was suffering from severe abdominal cramps and she was too weak to even stand. After tests and scans, they rushed her into emergency surgery where they removed a malignant tumor from her belly. Her heart stopped twice during the operation, but after 3 days in the ICU and 4 more in a private room, she was back home with me. The doctors cautioned us that this was a particularly aggressive type of cancer that would in all likelihood come back. Chemotherapy had to be delayed because her wounds weren't healing, and when she finally did receive treatment, things went from bad to worse. Another very large tumor, deemed inoperable, grew in her abdomen, and only 245 days from her initial diagnosis, she lost her life to a stage 4 sarcoma of the fallopian tube. She was under hospice care for the last 4 months of her life, but was able to live at home where she continued to enjoy the many visitors that came to see her. At 7:10 a.m. on the morning of April 3rd, 2017, she drew her last breath. My daughter and I were at her side. She led a full and joyous life. Her departure left a tremendous void in the lives of her family and her many friends. Thank you again for visiting with us. I leave you with these 2 songs performed by family members.
As I come into your presence, past the gates of grace, into your sanctuary, till we're standing face to face. I look upon your countenance, I see the fullness of your grace. I can only bow down and say, you were awesome in this place, mighty God. You were awesome in this place, Abba Father. You are worthy of our praise. To you our lives we raise. You are awesome in this place, mighty God. As I come into your presence, past the gates of praise, into your sanctuary, standing face to face. I look upon your countenance, I see the fullness of your grace. I can only bow down and say, you are awesome in this place, mighty God. You are awesome in this place, Abba Father. You are worthy of our praise. To you our lives we raise. You are awesome in this place, mighty God. You are awesome in this place, mighty God. You are awesome in this place, Abba Father. You are worthy of our praise. To you our lives we raise. You are awesome in this place, mighty God. Mighty God. Mighty God. Mighty God. As the deer panted for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. As the deer panted for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You Time